This hearing starts with a warning sign you can't ignore. A mother is back in court, but the focus quickly shifts away from routine legal issues into something far more serious: her judgment as a parent. Right from the beginning, there's tension surrounding her behavior, especially tied to her boyfriend, who is facing a felony charge involving one of her children. That alone raises the stakes immediately. As the hearing begins, things don't jump straight into emotional arguments. Instead, it opens with confusion around financial records and systems. The state attorney even apologizes, admitting the system issues may affect today's outcome. That moment might seem small, but it signals something bigger. This case has been messy for a while.
An injunction keeping Brian Florence away from these children. He's facing felony injury to a child, the older child in this case. A case is set in August. It's been reset a few times. It's a jury trial. And he's facing a revocation of his deferred for burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit theft, Your Honor. And so there have been altercations, verbal altercations. This was testified about in the last hearing in March between Mr. Florence and my client. Mr. Florence does not need to be present for these exchanges. That's potentially going to lead to something that would be very upsetting because Mr. Florence is an aggressive man. And Your Honor, my client testified last time that mom had slapped the little girl in the face. We are echoing the request for no corporal punishment of any form in this case. As to child support, Your Honor, my client, he is ready to finalize this case. Mr. Diamond has described what has happened between Corio County and this county as two vines growing in two different directions. I think there's been some overlap. The charts I've reviewed are confusing, but we are asking for some possession credit today, Your Honor, for two reasons. One, my client has had possession of Xavier, the older child, since January of 2022. That was testified about last time, and I didn't really hear any conflicting evidence there. And then furthermore, we have requested, I think we offered Exhibit 6 last time, Your Honor. It was a orthodontics bill, and mom's half of that would have been $2,688.25. And that has not been paid by Ms. Swart to reimburse my client. So we're asking for that to be reflected in any kind of judgment, Your Honor. As to, I think right now, the payment charts are confusing. Mr. Diamond did suggest that there are $15,927.63 on hold with the financial department with the OAG. And
That is
so
my understanding, Your Honor.
whatever judgment we have today, and of course we're asking for possession credit, but we just want to make sure that money doesn't get lost in the fold, and that money, if it is awarded to mom in the form of a judgment, that get paid when we do fix these numbers. And Your Honor, we're willing to move forward with the judgment as of September 2023. Mr. Diamond suggested maybe we could stipulate that my client's not precluded for seeking possession credits in the future after that. However, my thought is maybe we just have a date by which to clear up the numbers in this case too, if that would work, and we could get a final judgment as to custody today, and we just have a week or two to, send in updated numbers if that could work, and maybe have a status hearing on that. I don't know what the court wants to do, but my client is ready to move forward. He's ready for his both of his children to live with him on a primary basis.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to need some clarification from all sides here. I've been looking over the court file, and I see there's been a history of the county judge awarding writs of habeas and writs of attachment for unauthorized keeping of the children. And obviously that's going to factor in any decision made here. And I need to get some background on that. Again, that was heard by the county judge and not me, but I do see that there's writ of habeas is in here and a writ of attachment for failure to abide by the writ of habeas. So again, that I probably need to build that built into any timeline before I can make a proper decision on the possession credits. Okay.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right. Anyway, go ahead and 2 seconds. Is that live? I don't Zoom for that this afternoon. Is that live or Zoom?
That was actually going to be in person, Judge, unless
Right, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. I remember being in person. I see something. I guess I may have just put that up there to make sure I didn't. I have to go over that. Just put a picture here, Zoom here on that for the time frame. All right, thank you.
Thank you,
All
Judge.
right. If I lose this, we've been having trouble with internet over here ever since the storm. And if I lose, I'll try to get back in as soon as possible. Okay. All right. But anyway, if you see me gone, just stop and I'll try to get back in. I got a MiFi thing lying around here. See if I can get that to work too. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'll let the state go ahead and call your first witness at this time, please. Thank you.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry. I need both witnesses. Ms. Swart, you need to turn on the video, ma'am, and unmute yourself. And I'll need both of y'all to raise your right hands so I can swear you in. All right. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You're both officially under oath, and I'll let the state to call your first witness, please. You can put your hands down, folks.
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, I would offer Exhibit 1, and then I would ask if I may defer the rest of my case to, because I believe I'm just going to be asking questions as it relates to the possession credit, but I'd rather hear what Mr. Charles has to say first before I start asking questions.
All right, then. This is State's Exhibit number 1. It's the financial activity report, the long one. State's Exhibit number 2 starts looks like in 2023, and this one goes up till then, correct?
And begging your pardon, Your Honor, I would just offer States 1 if it pleases the court.
Okay. All right. So it's States 1. Any objection to States 1 coming in at this time, Mr. Bradbury?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kusak?
No, Judge.
All right, Ms. Swart, any objections to this coming in evidence, ma'am?
No.
All right, Stage 1 permitted. You may, and I'll go ahead and let Mr. Bradbury call his first witness in, and then of course the state and Ms. Kusak will be allowed to cross-examine. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, at this time, I'll call Ms. Swart.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ma'am, please state your full name for the record.
Michelle Yvette Swart.
The focus shifts to the children, and this is where everything starts to change. There are 2 kids involved, and the older one is already living with the father. That decision didn't happen randomly. It followed a physical incident involving the mother's boyfriend, which immediately raises concerns about safety.
Thank you.
Ms. Swart, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name for the record?
I'm Michelle Yvette Swart.
At the last proceeding, you testified that maybe you weren't working at the time. That was back in March. Was that true?
Yes, I'm not working.
Okay. And how long has it been since you've worked?
I haven't worked since, I'd say, like the end of March, beginning of April. I was working a temporary job, but I'm not working anymore.
So at the last court proceeding, you were working a temporary job?
Yeah, it's like a temporary job. I was in and out, yes.
Okay. And how much did you make at that job?
Like 17 an hour.
And how many hours a week did you work?
40.
And it's actually fair to say, based off your testimony in March, that the jobs you've held since 2022, you've made a minimum of $17 an hour. Is that fair to say?
For temporary jobs, yeah.
Okay. And what is the most that you made at a temporary job?
27.
And how many months would you say you were employed in 2023?
2023? Barely at all. I barely worked at all. I think maybe I worked if that, maybe like 2 jobs.
Okay. One of those jobs was at PFG making $17.50 an hour. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the one I just started.
So you've had that role more than once.
No.
We can power through this without me losing my internet connection, okay? Let's go ahead and I'll let you proceed, Mr. Bradbury. I was gonna see if I could switch over to another thing, but that would take too long. So let's go ahead and I'll let you proceed, sir.
You said I could go, Your Honor. I'm sorry. You were breaking out. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can. I can.
All right, you may proceed.
Ms. Swart,
Mhm.
do you think it's fair that you pay child support if both of your children were to go live with my client?
No.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kuzak, your witness.
Thank you, Judge. Okay, so the reason to believe the CPS case that involved Nyalisa, and that's the one where she had a busted lip, right?
Yes.
So that one was found reason to believe that you had committed that act, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have there also been some issues dealing with therapy? Did Nyalisa see a therapist for a while?
Yes.
Did both of the kids see a therapist, Aaron Moon?
Yes.
Did you have an issue with Aaron Moon?
No, I did not have an issue.
Did you disagree with the kids going to see Aaron Moon?
I said I would take Nyalisa. At first, yes, I did say that I had a disagreement. And then I went over there and spoke to him myself, and I agreed to take the kids. And then me and Mr. Arias had an altercation. He didn't think that I should take him. He think that he should take the kids. And that's when the counselor said that since we both couldn't come to agreement, that he was just going to cancel all visits.
So the kids, because you and Mr. Arias Charles did not agree on the therapist said that he could not meet with either one of you because you did not jointly consent to therapy, right?
Correct.
And you didn't say, okay, I do consent to therapy at this point.
After that, then no, we never went back to therapy.
And then you said, I said that I would be able to take Nyalisa to the therapist. Did you take her to the therapist after that?
No, I haven't, because after the last conversation we had with him was the kids weren't coming to therapy. And since we both couldn't come to agreement, I didn't think it was fair. I agreed to take her. He said no. They dropped us because we both couldn't agree. So therefore I didn't try to take her again.
Do you feel that both of the kids would benefit from therapy?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Is Nyalisa an anxious little girl?
Anxious?
Yes. Does she have anxiety issues? She gets nervous, upset stomach, freaks out about things that maybe other kids might not freak out about.
No, I'd say she's normal. I mean, she freaks out normally like normal kids. That's what I think.
Well, I'm not saying she's abnormal, but would you say that when it comes to anxiety, she's a pretty nervous girl?
I can't go into detail, but if she says she is, to me, I don't think so. She's been over there long enough, and his wife has the same issues, and she's came back saying the same things as his wife. So, but she says she did.
Have you taken her to another therapist
No,
to let her?
I haven't. No, because I don't think it's fair. I try to be fair when it comes to me and him.
Ma'am, again, the answer is no, and then stop.
No, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
As the hearing continues, attention turns to the younger child, and this is where the emotional pressure builds. Unlike before, she has been living with the mother, but now she's expressing a desire to live with the father as well. That's a major turning point.
Did Xavier speak with that therapist as well?
From my understanding, yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the issue with Xavier first. So were you there at the beginning where they started arguing with each other? They meaning Xavier and then your boyfriend Brian Florence.
Yes, yes.
And so did Xavier say something to Brian that made him mad?
Did Xavier say no?
Okay, so then how did this start? Who said what?
How it started was getting his Xbox taken away. He had got his Xbox taken away for bad grades, so I had his dad keep it at his house. It was Christmas break. Brian said he felt bad, so he was going to let Xavier use his Xbox because he didn't want him to be at home with no Xbox. I said that's fine. He asked Xavier to do chores while I was away at work. Xavier was like, no, I'm not going to do it. So Brian told me when I got home. And after that, I told Xavier that he couldn't have the Xbox. And I told Brian to take it away from him. And that's when the altercation. But the night before, I had caught him smoking weed in the backyard at 3. So he was already in trouble with me. And I told him I was going to talk to him after work.
Is this
So
at this time, when you say you caught him smoking weed, did Brian also have weed in the house at that time?
No.
Does
No.
Brian have weed in the house routinely?
No.
Has Brian ever had weed in the house?
No.
He's never had weed in
In
your
our
house.
house?
First,
No.
yes.
No. Not in my house.
So if the kids say that Brian smokes weed, they're wrong.
Yes, of course they're gonna say that. That's what Ralph and all them want them to say. That's this whole thing.
Mr. Smart, Mr. Smart.
I'm sorry. No, the answer is no.
There you go.
Okay. And then you've never smoked weed in the house. Is that
No.
correct?
Correct.
As far as the incident with Xavier, was there a point when it became physical?
Yes.
And how tall is Xavier?
I haven't seen him in a while. I mean, I know he's taller than me. He was taller than me. I'm short. I'm only 4'11".
How tall
so
are you? Okay, I'm sorry, you're 4'11", you said?
Yeah. Yes.
So he was a little bit taller than you. Is he pretty thin? He's not like big muscle, right?
No, he was chunky at the time, but the last time I seen him, he looks tiny, skinny. Like
Okay.
very tiny. But when he
Okay.
lived with me, no, he was chunky.
At that time, how tall was Brian Florence?
He's not that tall either. I think Brian's like 5'3". He's tiny too.
How much does he weigh?
Brian?
Yes.
At the time, Brian was skinnier, so I don't even know. He was tiny.
How
Brian
old was
tiny.
he approximately?
This is like 3 years ago. So, let's see. 30. I think he was like 31.
Okay. So in his early 30s. We're not quite sure, but kind of close.
Yeah.
Okay. So at some point, did Brian restrain Xavier?
Yes.
Did he put him in a chokehold?
It was a light chokehold. It wasn't really like a tight chokehold, and he just brought him from the kitchen to the hallway.
So he put his arm around Xavier's neck and pulled him from one room to the other.
Yes. Correct.
And you don't think it's possible that those red marks on Xavier, you still maintain that Xavier did that to himself?
Yes, because the marks that I seen were scratches. And if he would have held him in a tight chokehold, Xavier would have had like a asphyxiation mark going across. And even if Brian held him so tight, he wouldn't be able to get his nails down there and scratch himself.
Do you think that it's appropriate that a grown man put a child in a chokehold and drag them from one room to the other?
No, but what happened before was the only reason he did that is I told him to grab Xavier because Xavier started getting aggressive and violent with me and cussing and saying all types of crazy stuff. And that's the only reason why I told him to get him. I said, get him, take him to the other room. I did not tell him to choke him or anything. I just said, can you please get him?
And so at some point, Xavier removed himself from that situation and closed himself into the bathroom, right?
Yes, he had made a statement, said he was going to. said, told Brian.
Ma'am, can't
Okay.
just start with the- ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Just
he
start with
locked
the child
himself
said.
with it.
Can't
Yes,
just start with the child.
yes.
Okay. Does a teenage boy locking himself in the bathroom away from the adult sound like that child is the aggressor?
I'm sorry you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Does a teenage boy locking himself in the bathroom with you and your boyfriend on the outside, does that sound like a teenager who is being aggressive?
Not at the time.
Did he call Leilani at that point?
I did not know until later.
Who is Leilani to you?
My oldest daughter.
The father's side steps in, and this is where the pressure intensifies. His attorney confirms both children want to live with him and pushes strongly for primary custody. But the focus quickly returns to the same issue: the boyfriend.
And so Leilani is the half sibling to the two kids in this suit, right?
Correct.
And she's an adult, right?
Correct.
And so you later discovered that Xavier had contacted his half sister Leilani and asked her to come pick him up, right?
Yes, correct.
So she came to your house with, I think, her boyfriend at the time, right?
From what I heard, yes.
And then Xavier left at that time, right?
Yes.
Would you be surprised if Xavier feels that you did not have his back in that situation?
No, I would not feel surprised.
Do you understand that in an altercation between a child and an adult like that, and then your parent chooses to follow the boyfriend's version of events, that might have created a wedge that at this point may be irreparable between you and Xavier?
I understand.
Are you interested in trying to work on that issue with him?
I've been interested.
So if he wants to visit you, but only on a very, very limited basis, where maybe every couple weeks he contacts you and you guys go to lunch or something, where he can meet out in person without Brian being around, that you and he could at least be able to talk. If he instigates that, are you interested in pursuing that?
Yes, I've already told him that.
Are you interested in trying any kind of therapy with him?
Yes.
You have told me before that as far as Xavier goes and visitation and possession, that you don't want to force him to live with you, right? Are you
Correct.
still, is that still where you stand?
Correct.
Okay. As far as Nihilisa, we have talked about that issue before. You and I have met through Zoom. You indicated to me that you thought maybe Nihilisa wanted to live with her father, correct?
Yes. Because she wants to be closer to her brother.
Does she, I'm sorry, what?
She said she wants to live closer to her brother.
Okay. So, would you be surprised if Nihilisa said that she wanted to live with her father as the primary custodial parent?
No.
Okay. Do you and Nihilisa sometimes have disagreements about about any number of things, including, have you talked to her about her weight before?
Yes, I have talked to her about her weight.
How old is she right now?
She's 10.
Okay. I mean, you were a 10-year-old girl. Is that kind of a hard time to deal with a parent talking about weight issues?
Yes. And I won't explain it till later, but yes, I'll.
Okay. If she told you that hurt her feelings, is that something that she maybe expressed to you at the time when you said those things?
Yes.
Have you ever told her that you wished that you had had an abortion?
No.
So she says that she's made that up.
That's what I'm hearing. She's saying, going around saying now. That's not what I said.
What did you say that maybe sounded close to that? Is there something she misconstrued?
Yeah, when I was mad one time, a long time ago, I told her when she was talking about her dad and me, and I told her, your dad didn't even want you at the time because I was older and I wanted a baby. He was younger than me. I wanted to have a baby before 30. And then when all this started, like I said, when we had a baby, I did tell her, I said, your dad didn't even want you. So I could have had an abortion if I wanted to. I said, I didn't. I'm the one that wanted you, not him. That was my
Do
exact
you feel
word.
do you feel that that's appropriate?
No, it's not appropriate. I was mad in the moment, and that's what I told her. When she said something ugly to me, and so that's when I turned around and told her that I love her very much, that he was the one that didn't even want her, and that I could have gotten an abortion. I never said I wanted to get an abortion. Never, ever did I say that.
So this is the second time you said I was mad at the time. Are there times when you get mad and you say things and you think about them later and you're like, that is not Parent of the Year award material?
Yeah, I think everybody does. Everybody gets mad and gets in their moment. Yes.
Yeah. Um, do you drink around Nihilisa?
Yes, I do drink around her sometimes. I don't drink all the time, but yes, I do.
Have there been times where there have been parties where Nihilisa called her dad to come pick her up?
A long time ago, years and years ago when I first got single, yes, there has.
Okay. And so was that one of the issues where there was maybe a possession order issue, or like you did a capias or writ of attachment or something to get your child back from?
No, this was way long time ago. Like when we first split up, oh gosh, we probably been split, that was probably like 7 years ago when I first got single. Yeah, this is the very, very beginning of our separation, me and Mr. Ari's
Would it
sister.
surprise you to know that the drinking issue is a big concern for Nihilisa?
No, because I keep hearing y'all talk about it.
Have you talked to Nihilisa about it?
Yeah, I have.
Has she said she doesn't want you to drink?
No, she does not say that. She doesn't want me to get drunk or crazy or anything like that, but she has no problem with drinking, and I haven't. I've been in the house. I haven't been out. I don't go anywhere. I don't get crazy, belligerent drunk like I did years and years ago.
The judge begins stepping in more directly, and this is where the case slows down, but in an important way. Instead of rushing toward a decision, he starts examining the history. Prior rulings, enforcement issues, and past violations all come into focus.
Do you feel that it would be appropriate for both parents to be prohibited from consuming alcohol around the kids?
I think it's appropriate for not just one parent to do it, for the other parent to do it as well.
Right, that was my question. If
Yeah.
if the court ordered both parents to not consume alcohol or drugs around the children, do you feel that that's appropriate?
Yes.
Do you also feel that it's appropriate if the judge issues an injunction, basically a rule against either parent hitting the kids?
Yes, that's appropriate.
Do you routinely tell Nihilisa you're going to pop her in the mouth?
No, I do not.
You've never said that to Nihilisa. You've never said,
No,
I'm going to pop you in the mouth.
I have. A long time ago when we were driving in the road, she got disrespectful with me, and I told her I was going to pop her in the mouth, that she should not talk to me and disrespect me like that. Yes, I have told her. I told her that was rude and disrespectful, and she shouldn't say that. She's gonna get popped in the mouth. Yes, I did.
Did you ask her what you looked like in an outfit once? She said it was okay, and then you said you were going to pop her in the mouth for being disrespectful.
No, never. Over an outfit? No.
Okay.
There was only one time, like I said, where she said something disrespectful. We were in the car ride and she got an attitude, and I told her, I said, that's disrespectful and rude. Do you want to get popped? My exact words were, do you want to get popped in the mouth? Stop talking that way. That's what I told her.
I pass the witness, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Cage with me is Mr. Down, you there, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions of the witness, sir?
No, Your Honor, but maybe if I could come back to her. I'd really like to hear what Mr. Charles has to say as far as possession credits, and then maybe I would ask Ms. Swartz some questions if necessary.
It-
Good. And thank
Your Honor,
you.
I might have a couple questions again.
Okay.
Ms. Swart, would you say it was a voluntary decision for you to?
Mr. Bradbury says, sorry, sir, we lost the judge.
I couldn't hear what he was saying before. I think he said, okay.
I'm gonna get some dates by email, see what we come with, and to agree to time. Mr. Cruz actually don't want to do the one this afternoon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, Judge.
We're 3 this afternoon. 2:30. Let's see.
I have 3:30, Judge, but I will be glad
Okay.
to.
That's what I had a hold. I got a hold there live. I could reset and set. All right, so I'll see y'all at 3:30. Okay.
Okay.
I'll do that, but I'll get you guys some dates back, and we'll see what we'll set up doing a reset. But like I say, I just keep losing it on and off, and well, it is what it is. It's not, at least I got electricity now. So, all right, then I'm gonna let everybody go. Everybody try to remember the spot we're in, and like I say, I'm gonna try to find a spot. I'll look on a Monday and a Friday. Those are usually a lot more available. And I'll see what we can do. Anyway, my apologies, but I'm just gonna have to go ahead and end this one because again, I'm gonna lose y'all in another minute, and we won't be able to get this done. So again, apologies, folks.
And Judge, on the Mondays and Fridays, I can only really do those if those are like a couple of months out, and I would hope that we could try to get this done before the school changes.
Right, it's Wednesdays that you're available again, right? It's your best.
Correct,
I think that's
Judge.
why we did this one on this date.
Correct.
All right,
Usually,
then, well, like I
Judge.
said, let me back guys. Well, I got to move somebody else and put y'all into a spot at this same time as we had today on the night. See, I'll do it. But I'll let you know about it. Okay, well, I'll get those over to you as soon as I can. Anyway, I'm trying to hurry up now before I lose you guys again. So I'm going to stop the recording and see what I got coming up. And Mr. Bradbury, if you can send over to Belinda by email you have times available, sir, coming up over next coming up in early July. Of course, I think the 4th is Wednesday, so that's going to blow that out the window. But anyway, and we'll see about getting. But I really want to try to get this done in June if I can. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This time I'm stopping recording. Everybody's free to go in. Apologies. I lost it. I lost it for an hour yesterday, but it came back strong, and now it's going out again today. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. On a separate matter, not dealing with this case. Judge, on a separate one, not dealing with this case.
All right, I'll stop the recording. So yeah.
Okay. I'm involved in the 1031, I believe, but I don't know if that's going to go or not.
I'm gonna try to switch over to MiFi, and I'm gonna get you guys up, but I'll let you know it's gonna be at least another 10, 15 minutes, okay?
Okay, and I don't know that I have a Zoom code on that. I tell you what, I'll email
Oh, well,
Miss Morales.
all right, and I'll send her the Zoom code for the board in Wilson, right?
Yes, yes, Judge.
I have a
All right,
question.
let's see if I can.
I have a
what's your
question. So we're supposed to go in person at 3:30, but this is not getting resolved till like another couple of months, correct?
No, 3:30 is what we were in, but I don't plan on having it
I'm
for the
sorry,
interview.
you're breaking
Ms.
up.
Von, I mean, Ms. Cusack, were the lawyers and the parties going to be here for that in chambers hearing? In chambers meeting?
I was hoping that it would just be my child client, Nilisa, and me in the court. I think I think
That's what I had it down as. That's what I had it down as. I didn't have it as any type of hearing with the lawyers, so.
correct. It was just a
No, but you don't have.
conference.
Yeah, it's an in-chambers interview with the child, ma'am. It's not a hearing, so you don't have to be here for that.
But this is not gonna resolve till a couple months because we're rescheduling this, correct?
I was gonna try to say it in June, but right now, I don't, also the storm, the internet's not working properly and I can't do it properly, ma'am. I'm gonna try to get a date in June to get this set up. Thank you.
The mother acknowledges that her boyfriend physically restrained her son, but still tries to justify the situation. That moment stands out because it highlights a disconnect between what happened and how she views it. She also admits to past statements made in anger toward her child, and while she downplays them, the impact is hard to ignore. When combined with concerns about alcohol, discipline, and conflict in the home, the overall picture becomes difficult to overlook. A follow-up is scheduled, including a private meeting with the child, but for now, there's no resolution, and that leaves the case hanging at its most critical moment, with everything still on the line.